Yeah, it was hot. It was hot.
Yeah, it was hot in that one.
Yo, dudes in the feds, you know, they done seen all type of cars and stuff.
But they ain't seen no shit.
Man, they like, man, you got pictures, because dudes from Syracuse used to always be telling them about that. Young dudes, all that. They pay kids, you ain't got no pictures of it? Man, we want to see this. You know what I mean?
I remember that shit.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact.
And you know what, though? And the cops ain't never messing with it, like, for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? These days, you probably
wrong.
Yeah,
One of the right niggas riding that.
Yeah, everybody remember that.
The grown niggas was riding that.
All right, welcome everybody. We had the Top Tier Podcast Show. We got our special guest, Tyrone Hines here from Boogie Down, Syracuse, you know what I mean, South Side.
Yeah.
Welcome, brother, welcome. 26 years gone, man, back in the building. What's happening?
Hey, it feel good to be back in the building, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And we got Terrell sitting on the side. You know, he was a youngster back then, but he was older than us. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, everybody.
We got my man West back there. Y'all don't see. He's part of the program too. One of the OGs out here.
What's going on, people?
What's going on with y'all? What's going on? Welcome to the show. Now we going. Now listen, y'all gonna sit in, and this is not to brag about the things in the past. This is the things that made the men that they are now. So what we about to get into is his story, and y'all just, you know, if y'all ain't interested, move on. If y'all want to sit down and listen for about an hour, enjoy the emotions. Enjoy the emotions. You know what I'm saying? That's all I can tell. Now we gonna get into it, man. Now you was raised in Syracuse, right?
Yeah, I was raised in Syracuse on the south side, particularly the bricks. You know, I was raised in the bricks.
Boogie down bricks.
The Boogie Down bricks. Okay, so
Yeah.
how was it back then? You know, what was it like back then growing up?
Well, you know, like they say the bricks is wild right now, but back then it was a different ball game. I mean, it was like, you know, you had to. It was like the Olympics. You had to be good.
Yeah.
You had to be good at everything. You had to be good at jumping fence. You had to be good at shooting marbles. Because you was competing with so many people, so many young kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So the bricks was like Survivor Island back then. You know, but it also was good for like families and stuff, because you was close knit. You know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So where you went to high school at?
I went to Henniger High School. Yeah.
All right. You finished out or?
Nah, you know that, man.
I mean, I gotta let you say.
I stopped in the 10th grade.
Okay, what was your first job at?
My first job was working for CETA, the summer program. Yeah.
So how'd you get in that job?
You know, back then you just had to go. It was like a summer program, so it was for the youth. So,
Yeah.
You know, you go fill out an application, they hire you.
So how long you was up in there?
It only lasts for the summer.
Oh, only just a summer program. So what you do like during the regular, you know, during when you got out of school and stuff, like what were you doing?
Oh, see, my first summer job was when I was like 14.
Yeah.
And then the next summer, I was working for Central Village Youth Center, part of the summer program. So I was working there while I was still in high school. So once I quit high school, I was still working at the youth center.
Okay, now you was the oldest in your family, right? Out of the kids.
Yes. It's me. I got 2 brothers and 2 sisters.
Okay, and it was just your mom.
Yeah, single moms. Yeah.
Where your pops went?
Never seen him, man. Never seen him.
Wow.
Yeah.
So okay, let's get into it then. So how'd you get into the game?
Well, it was a combination of a few things, you know, like growing up and you seeing your mother raise you, single parent, struggling, doing the best she could.
Yeah.
You always got in your back of your mind that you want to do something to be able to help the family, you know. So I didn't think it would be the drug game. That's why I started out working, having a job. But once I was working for Dave Rufus at the Central Village Youth Center, you know, things started going left, you know. So then once then I had bills, I had an apartment, you know what I mean? I had a car note. So I wasn't going I was on my way out the center,
Yeah.
so I was still looking for a way to fill in the income that I was making at the center. So what happened was a guy came by and left. I tell people this story all the time. A guy came by and left a stolen radio in the center. Told me to watch it till he come back, but he never came back to get it. So I sold that stereo set for $80, and that's when I purchased my first drugs to sell.
So how did you know what to do though? Like,
Well, you know, like always, you know, you watching the neighborhood drug dealers, right?
yeah,
You asking them questions, you know, you constantly getting a little bit of information from each one of them, you know. So, and then, like I say, it was some things I still didn't know about the game. It just came as it, you know what I mean, day to day.
so you took a bunch of losses before caught on.
Oh yeah, you know when you I mean it wasn't too much loss because like I said I only started with $80, so you know.
Yeah, I mean most of us
Yeah.
will take $80 and we'll make some money and we probably just spend it. You was young
Yeah.
and you took that $80 and knew to flip your money and re-up and all that stuff.
Yeah. 'Cause
Wow, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Like to be that age and then know to take your money then and flip it because there's grown men that still don't get that concept. But you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
that was amazing to at that time period to be able to do that, you know, under the circumstances. So where did it go from there?
Well, like I say, like any business, you got to build it slowly, right? Put time into it, you know what I mean? And just like a lot of people hear stories about Tyrone Hines, but like these guys like Terrell Tyler, Wes Denson, you know, all the Boogie Down members,
Yeah.
they played an important role in building this empire, you know? It wasn't just about me. So to be successful, you needed a good team, you know? And a guy like Kenny Pace say this all the time to me. He said, I might be the only one that had a crew that had members from every side of town. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a fact.
You know what I mean? So I say all that is that when you're building a successful team, you got to have, all type of characters. You got to have people that, at the bottom of the pole, middle of the pole, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So where'd it go from there? Like, how'd you know to go to? I read that you went to New York City and stuff like that. How'd you know about that?
Well, first, I never even thought about going to New York City. I had a connect on South Ave, a Puerto Rican guy on South Ave, right?
Yeah.
But when he got popped, we had to find a different connection. So at the time, there was this guy from New York City.
Did you rob him?
Yeah, he turned us. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
We gonna get to that.
He turned us on to the guy, So that's how we started going down to New York City.
Okay, so how did you end up with the block you obtained? Like you was on.
Now what happened was my cousin and my aunt and them was living up there, right? So the block, other people was on that block. You know what I mean? So, like I say, starting off, you have to build your own clientele. You know what I mean? So we didn't have no clientele. So we just happened to be up there because my aunt lived up there. So we'll catch licks as when we can, when nobody was around. So you had to grind it out. So a couple of people that was on that block, they ended up going to jail. So really, that gave us a way to really.
So once they went to jail, y'all just basically took over.
Yeah.
Slid right in there. Like anywhere else, they might slide on it.
Yeah.
Move right in.
No
New
question.
landlords. That's how we got it. Okay, so now that you in the game now, you in the game, everything's rolling. So when do you really start making money?
Well, the key, like I try to, even now with anything, you always want to be creative, right? You always want to come up with something. Like when I first got in the game, most people was telling people, "Hey man, you bring me back 70 and you keep 30."
Yeah.
Right? But what I did was I told everybody we're gonna split half. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So once I made everybody realize that they was gonna make the same amount of money as me, then everybody was in because everybody wasn't getting half.
Absolutely not.
Even to the day, people don't like giving up half.
No.
They want to make more than everybody.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? But now it's up to what those dudes do with they half. You know what I mean? But even though I'm breaking half with them, some of them gonna take shorts.
Yeah.
Some of them gonna take losses. So really, they not making half, right? But
Yeah.
in their mind, they was considered to be making the same amount as me.
Absolutely. So as you moving along and stuff, what are some of the places you used to go to when y'all, what y'all was doing back then? Like,
When like the Boogie Down, you hear many stories.
tell us
today.
about it, man. They want to know. These young guys know about it. Tell us about it.
Hey,
Take us back to that moments.
hey, and I stand on this, right? I done heard that there's been a lot of good parties and all that, but I don't think nobody can throw a party like the Boogie Downs, man. You know what I mean?
That's a fact.
I mean, hey, and like my man,
What's the credit for that?
yeah, like my man
Somebody
Rufus
come to
though.
the party.
When I got out of jail, Rufus said, "Man, don't let them ladies in free, charge them." But see, one of the top things about our parties is that we always let ladies in free all
Yeah.
the time. So some of our places that we like to go was Nowhere City, Gardenias,
Yeah.
Turner's. You know what I mean?
The Bogart.
Yeah, the Bogart. We had
So what was that like when y'all went there? It was the violence was at the minimum back then, right?
the whole.
Wasn't no beef with no East and West,
See-
none of that.
See, you always had beef, right?
Mm-hmm.
You always had beef, but it wasn't till like it is, right? How it is now.
No shoot,
You know
no
what I mean?
shooting.
Yeah,
All hands.
yeah. You know what I mean? You could fight like one time we had a big fight at Nowhere City with the East Side, right? And the next day we were shaking hands. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
On top the next day.
because you
Glad
have
the Cadillac.
you have
This
this.
is so.
Yep. You have disagreements, you have this and that. But like I say, we loved it to go on the East Side. They have Thornton Park. They have places that we like to go have fun. They want to come on the South Side. They want to go to Gardenias. They want to go places,
Yeah.
right? So people don't want to be beefing and limit
They limit
themselves.
themselves.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
So tell us about the cutoff top, man. Tell the people about the cutoff top.
Man, hey,
Tell us about the cutoff. What made you do that, man?
hey,
Tell us how to start to the finish of that, man.
Man, it was
hey,
hot.
like,
It was hot up in that limousine.
yeah,
Like,
nobody.
you see?
I
That was
think,
the limousine that cut the top off.
Yeah, but it had like, see?
Nah, hell nah, it was hot in here.
yeah, it was hot.
That's
Yeah,
the crazy shit. That's why he cut the
And then
top.
you got like 10 motherfuckers up in there.
yeah.
Niggas draw heat.
Yeah, he cut the top. He cut the top off, and man, y'all, young people that's watching this, man, y'all just don't know back in that time period when that was like one of the biggest things in Syracuse, man, when he cut that top off. That was like
Hey.
I don't know what to call it. That was just like the Taj Mahal being built or something, man.
Nah,
Like,
what
And
was the
it
funniest
stayed
thing
running.
when Hines bought that Benz
It
that
stayed
looked like birdies.
Hey.
And he painted it. He put the gold grill on there, the rag top. I think Birdie sold this shit right after that.
See, a lot of times back then when you're young, you do a lot of stuff to have fun,
yeah,
right? And you do stuff that some things you don't even think about it. But like cutting a limousine top off, that's a story that probably the most talked about story, even when I was in the feds. Guys heard about that. So in the barbershop today, people constantly always talk about
maybe the second most talked about with you. Maybe the second. Maybe the second. I'll say the second. No, you got 3 top stories. We into one of them. We into one of them.
yeah. Yeah, but like I say, I'm glad I did cut the top off because there's a story that people don't get enough of talking about.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely, man. That was like when I was a kid, and I remember it was just so crazy to me, man. It was like, wow, this dude really cut the top off the limo, riding around, everybody party up and down Salina, like it was just crazy.
Yeah.
But and then it's like, And that time period, it was so much love back then, right?
Yeah, a lot of love, a lot of fun. You know what I mean? Like I say,
Cause that's all I remember. I
Yeah.
remember love.
yeah, and that's what.
Because right here showed us plenty of love. He brought us around you plenty of times and shit. You know, I remember all them times and shit, man. It was always good time, good happy times. Real OG niggas doing OG shit back
Yeah.
then. You know, not like now when niggas is so soloist. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Like then it was like group hug, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
That's
If
what
I-
the problem is. Niggas don't want to show love no more. That whole art is gone.
Yeah.
yeah, it's just a lot of selfishness now. You know what I'm saying? Like it ain't from everybody, but it's so much you recognize it more now. You know what I mean? Back then it was just like, come here, little nigga, here,
Yeah.
take this money, put it in your pocket, go and get.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was more or less that going on and shit. But so take us back, man. Like what the block was doing back then?
Man, the
Numbers.
block, hey,
Numbers.
hey,
It ain't have to be
Hey.
on first.
Hey.
No, we did that on a Monday.
hey.
It was,
First,
it was so much money on the block. It was so much money in the block. This what Hines did. Like, cause we was it used to be all of us out there. All of us get our little things out. So Hines said, "This we gonna do. We gotta do days. You know, you gotta do days.
Y'all had shifts.
You 2 Monday and Tuesday. You 2 Wednesday and Thursday.
And y'all was just at that one block.
And then,
Yeah,
but
that block
them
is
two,
numbers.
if us two on the block and it's our day, the whole block will still be on there because that was just our family. We had a big family.
Yeah.
Okay, we gonna get into the number 2 story that was attached to you. When did the Jack missions come in play?
The who?
The Jack missions, the robbers.
Oh,
The big robberies you talked about.
hey.
I was laughing earlier, but see,
Hey.
when you asked the little questions, I'm laughing. But he talk about this 50-30, this
Yeah.
The question is how much he had of that shit to give.
I'm saying, because you know the block making so much money. What put your mindset in the getting into that life? That's a whole different life.
More money.
Yeah. See what happened? How that all started was my connect on South Ave, right?
I said something about
Yeah,
that
he was-
too.
Yeah, he was a Puerto Rican, right? And,
Shout out to all the Puerto Ricans. There's nothing against
yeah,
y'all.
and,
We
so-
love Puerto Ricans.
Yeah, so we went. So one day we went to. I went to take somebody to pick up a package.
Yeah.
And when we go to pick up the package, nobody's home. So
Okay.
so we knew that was the stash house. So by nobody being home, we took the opportunity to go up in there, you know. And when we went in there, we found all the money. So when you find that much money on a hum bomb, you get addicted to it. You know what I mean?
So you
Because-
said, so y'all never thought about it before that
No,
these
nah.
guys that selling us the drugs got mad money
Nah,
until you saw it.
I mean, we knew they had money, but we didn't know where the safe house was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when the nephew took us to the safe house by mistake, he wasn't supposed to take us there. But when he took us there, nobody was home. And my connect never took us to that house before. So when we go up in there and you find money,
How much money we talking?
I mean, it's different amount.
At your first jugs.
Terrell might say, how much, Terrell?
I don't know because the money was all. He had a table about this long, and the money was all over the table. I mean, you couldn't see no black on the table because the money was covering the whole
So if
table.
it was a black table, it was all green.
And it wasn't one bill. I'm talking about it was like it was.
Then you got some people stashing, so
Yeah, everybody take it. You know that's going.
yeah, you know what I mean. So
Ankle socks.
We had about 2.
Hey.
Nigga ankle look like a house.
Nigga got a little lip leaving.
No. Yeah. One day he thought I stashed. He's like, Terrell, where you at right here? He's like, man, looking at me like, "Look,
Stay close.
give me this bag.
So what was that? What was that like? You know what I'm saying? Explain to us like at that time when you got the adrenaline rush from the first,
Yeah, when
free
you-
come up.
like I said, when you run in and you find that much money on a hum bum and you ain't got to work for it, you know, you get addicted to it. Now you thinking that, hey, it was easy to get this. Now, you know what I mean?
So was there ever a time where it went wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terrell
Yeah.
got one story where it went wrong.
Man, let me
Tell
tell
us
you,
about
right?
it.
So now Hines done got the people the day before. Ain't tell me. So he said, "Yo, go tell the dude you want like 5 ounces." He said, "Don't give him the money." He said, "Don't give him the money." So I go. I tell the dude, I said, I look at him. He looked at me like I'm dumb. He like, "Where you know me from?" I said, "Man, Hines told me to tell him that you know him from the Blodgett."
Yeah.
He said, I met you at Blodgett. So he's like, "Oh, okay." Okay, so he got another dude with him. And I sensed that the dude must have had a gun or something on him. So I'm like, "All right, let me go check my other people, and then if it ain't, then I'll call you right back." He's like, "Okay." So I leave. I go jump in the van. I said, "Nah, Hines, that nigga got a gun." He's like, "Nah, man, he ain't got a gun. He fronting because we just got him yesterday." So I'm like, "For real?" I said, "All right." So I call him back. So I call him back. This time it's this girl driving, and he in the passenger side. So I jump in the back seat. He give me the drugs. I'm looking at the drugs. There's a lot of drugs too. I'm looking at the drugs like I just jumped out the door. I started running. I swear, he run. I'm fast. Before I gained all this weight, I was fast. Man, this Puerto Rican dude was on my ass. So I ran through a backyard. When I ran into the backyard, there was 2 little kids playing in the little pool, and their mother was at the door watching them. So I'm running out. I see the fence. I said, "Yeah, I'm about to clear this shit." I jumped the fence, and my pants got stuck on the top. And I'm hanging down, pants hanging down. He got the gun. "I should shoot you." So I tell Poppy, like, "Yo, I thought to work back. Yo, Poppy, is yours."
Yeah, right.
So he pick it up. He take a couple steps back. He run back to the fence. I said, "Shoot you." Now I'm hanging upside down on the other side of the fence.
Damn.
I swear, if them little kids wasn't back there, I wouldn't be here today. So I dust myself off. I go get in the van. I sit in the back. I said, "Yo, Hines, man, my father almost killed me back there."
So he was mad about he got before, so he thought you had something to do with it?
Man, had to, man, because for real, I could have died right there.
And see, like, when you get older and you think about things, that's some of the stuff that you think about, like decisions that you do back when you younger.
Yeah.
We just had got him the night before, so why would we go and try to get him again?
That's being greedy. Being greedy.
Yeah.
And send me.
Then
The only
another,
one we did like that.
then another time, right? Like, it's a good question that you asked. Like, the same house that we found all the money in, we go back there and try it again.
Oh, man.
Right? So the police is well, let me back up some. Before that, when we found all the money, my connect had called some people in from out of town. Man, they was going to people's houses with guns. They was writing notes on people's cars. They was looking for us hard, right? And,
Yeah.
And I
The Uzi at the little court, them people.
yeah, so I think that if they wasn't on parole and the police had pulled them over, you know, they going to people's houses in the bricks, putting guns up to their mothers and stuff like
shit.
that. So police got wind of it, looking for them, and when they pulled them over, they had a car full of guns and they on parole. But I think if that didn't happen, somebody probably would have got killed because
They got tired of getting robbed.
yeah, and they was mad about all that money missing. You know what I mean?
You tell a table full of money, that had to be a lot of money.
Yeah. So then, like fast forward, that same house, we tried that house again. Another young mistake, right?
Yeah.
Because why we gonna go in a house that we just went in there maybe a month and a half ago, right? And won't show up when we went in there. Some of the dudes with us at that time couldn't find no money, so they get frustrated. They making noise, this and that. So now police is coming. Police caught some of us at the scene. Some of us got away. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
we ended up with some serious charges. They all got dropped. But like you say, there's a lot of things that can go wrong when you're doing those type of missions. You know?
Absolutely. And the big thing, you got a block that's $1 million block over here.
Hey,
And then you gonna say yourself, you over here in this field.
hey, but when somebody come and whisper in your ear that, you know, you got some.
But the things is different from other people because you had robbery people, you had hustlers, and you was a combined. So you had a block that was still going while you still on your mission.
Yeah.
You know
While
what I'm saying?
while we over here got the binoculars out,
Don't stop.
while we got the scanners and all that out and scoping, the block is still getting money. You know what I mean?
The block's still moving while y'all getting other money.
Yeah.
So I'm telling people, man, we not bragging about robbing nobody and no chance like that. Because you see the good and the bad to it. You know what I'm saying? We just explaining, back in that time what it was like. So don't take that in. Young people that's watching and run with it and be like, I'm gonna be. Listen to the story now. Yeah. Listen to everything. Don't want to take it bits and pieces like they do the Bible and try to use it for you. Listen to it all now. Yeah. We gonna go forward now. What was when did you feel the heat coming on?
When did I feel the heat coming on? Well, the heat was always on, right? To be honest, the heat was always on because, like I say, if you look at my investigation, it seemed like they was following us every day. They doing everything. They watching us day, night. They following us everywhere. They got the cameras up. See, they got cameras up now.
Yeah.
But that's what they did to us back then. You know what I mean?
So y'all was really first ones, because I ain't never heard of the feds up until that point back then about.
Well, they had a couple of cases
in Syracuse.
Before. Yeah, it was a couple of cases before ours.
Carnell Haney.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But
now they get charged with the Kingpin charge like you, or?
Well, Carnell. See, you got 3 sets of Kingpin statute, right? You got the one where it faced 20 to life.
Yeah.
Then you got the one where you could be in a conspiracy and murder somebody. That's a separate Kingpin. Then you got the Kingpin statute that carried mandatory life. You know what I mean? And that's the one I had. I had the one that's why they always say I was the first one charged with that in the whole Northern District. Because once they charge you with that, it's mandatory life.
Now, was people getting knocked around you, a lot?
I mean, like the everyday events happening. People getting arrested, in the drug game, people getting arrested. And, you're not thinking nothing of it. You know what I mean? You're just thinking people getting arrested. Okay, you bail them out. You know what I mean? But all that was part of the conspiracy. You know what I mean? That's how they build a case on you.
Okay, so take us back to April 19th.
Yeah.
What was that day like?
Oh, man, that day started off messed up, man. Yeah, that day it was because the ride that we was gonna drive, we wasn't even supposed to drive that car.
Yeah.
Then we let somebody see us going that shouldn't have saw us going. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so then when we go and we come back, everything just ain't feel the same because Terrell just got chased a week earlier. They chased him from the bus station, police everywhere. You know what I mean? So we try to change up plans the next following week. You know what I mean? But April 19th, that day started out crazy,
Man.
So how old was you back then?
23, 24, 25.
Wow.
You know?
And so
I was 17.
So when they came to your house, they caught you in the car. What?
Nah, what happened was this white guy named Brian.
I remember Brian.
Yeah.
If you don't remember, didn't I call Brian the police and you tried to embarrass me on the block? And I said, yo, that dude, because, back then, back then we thought, like, it was very few white people on the south side. And when he brought him in the house and surrounded the house, I said, yo, who that, the police? He's like, so he started laughing like he is now. Yeah. And then we went down on the block. He said, yo, Hines, he thought Brian was the police. So everybody started laughing. But Brian was working with the police.
Yeah. So.
But it was just, he was working with it. He wasn't actual police. He was just...
Man, I'm going to tell you the time when it started. Remember, we was in a restaurant and the police walked in the restaurant. You grabbed the phone.
oh, yeah.
And they told him that he had a traffic ticket.
Yeah.
He didn't have a traffic ticket. He had to sell.
Yeah.
And they took him down there because Hines, we go down there and done him out.
Yeah.
And And the police like, no, he'll get out in the morning. It's nothing serious. But the whole time,
You never sensed nothing from him?
I mean, like when you're in that drug gang,
Yeah.
especially when you back there on the Givens block, so much stuff was happening every day.
Yeah.
So many different things was happening every day that, you know what I mean? That.
Life,
Yeah. So you getting pulled over by the police, people trying to steal your packages. It's just so much stuff going on that you be concentrating on a lot of other stuff, and a lot of things that we should have saw, we didn't.
you was blinded by it.
Yeah.
You got girlfriends back then. You got, situations. You got other crews that somebody. I understand what you're talking about, but
yeah.
you can't see everything.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
no.
And some things you don't want to see because your love sometimes overshadows your, mentality to say, this is what it
Yeah.
is.
not even that. The one time, Hines come in the house, but we hear it on the scanner. It said, "Yeah, Tyrone he just walked in. He just got out the car. He just walked up the stairs. He just went in the house." And we turn around, me, Deb, and Johnny. You look, and he coming in the house. I said, "Yo, Hines, man, the fucking scanner that said you was coming in the house." He's like, "What?" So now Hines go in the bag. He go in the kitchen and play. Get a little paper bag,
Yeah.
fill it up with nothing, and put it under the rim well of his car. And we hear him, he put something under the rim well of the car. Like the whole time, they used to be riding bicycles past his house. We not knowing who the hell it was until one day Hines caught a motherfucker in his trash can. We up on the top of the thing, like, yo, get your ass on my trash can. The motherfucker started running. We like,
So they was doing the same thing back then. They doing now.
Yeah.
They do
yeah,
that
yeah.
now. They go in people trash and the same methods they was using way back then.
Yeah.
94. Well,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? They doing it now.
yeah, they look for receipts.
Yep. A lot of people don't think that trash is important, but trash where you throw receipts out, you throw stuff.
What they say? One man's junk is another man's what?
Trash, goddamn.
But so now April 19th come, they get you. Where they take you to?
Took us straight to the Fed building. Like, that's when I really knew it was the Feds. I didn't know it was the Feds when we was in the car.
Man, I didn't know what they was.
And when they pulled up to the federal building, I was like, hey, where we going? You know what I mean? Because I thought we was going to the public safety
Yeah,
building.
when they passed the place public safety bill, that's what I said. Like, yo, where I'm going? He said, you got bigger problems.
Yeah,
Oh shit.
yeah.
So up until this point, you've never been in prison.
Nah, I've never been in prison.
You never been downtown for nothing.
Yeah, I've been downtown.
But you never had no time
to
attached to your name.
Yeah.
You never even been to the Ville, right?
Yeah, I've been to the Ville like 30 days.
30
60
days.
stuff
Okay.
like that. Yeah.
But not up north or nothing like
Nah.
that. So your first charge is a kingpin charge, federal charge. That's
Yeah.
your first real charge.
Yes. Yeah.
So when you get downtown, I went to the federal building. What happens?
Well, we get a rain and, they shooting numbers, 848. I don't understand what 848 mean. I just knew that was the charge. So, you still thinking that you're going to beat it. You thinking that, because, that's one thing about when you learn about the feds, they don't need evidence on you like how the state
Word of
need
mouth.
evidence. You know what I mean? So all this time, once you're doing things, they just building the case. They just building the case up on you. So when you thinking that they ain't got nothing on you and this and that, so you're not really thinking that you're going to get all this time. 3, 4 years, 5 years.
So tell the people, you never got caught with any drugs, right, during this case?
I mean, that day, on the 19th, we got caught. You was in the car, Tyrone?
Yeah. No. I was in another car.
Oh.
They pulled us over in Little Harry Benz. Come over they had just went your house, Amp house, and they had just took. They took the Benz.
Okay.
So we was in Little Harry.
So when they picked you up, that was the first time you got caught with narcotics.
Yeah.
But during the case, they never actually caught you personally with nothing.
No.
Wow, it's
Yeah.
crazy. So now you charged with this federal charge, right?
Yes.
So what's going through your mind?
Man, you start thinking about, you start really thinking about your family. You start thinking about your friends. You start thinking about just the little things that you enjoy and you gonna miss. You know what I mean? Like you just start thinking about all type of stuff.
So where they holding you at?
Cortland County Jail, right, Terrell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you was there the whole time in Cortland?
Nah. What happened is the feds, they'll keep you in the county jail a few months, then they'll move you to another county jail. That's how they were doing it back then.
Yeah. They do it now.
Okay.
They move them around. You know, people move them around.
Okay.
Not like that. They was moving us around like every couple months. They're moving.
Yeah.
Oh no. They pretty much because the budget's not set now for everybody.
Yeah. Because like
like the Ville don't want people no more for the feds, so they don't get it. So how you get to the Ville?
Well, that's a good question, right? I'm glad I ended up in the Ville because what happened was the public safety building. Man, that wasn't no place to be, right?
Yeah, that was the old pub, man. They ain't like that like we see now.
Yeah.
That was the old pub bars and
Locking.
Yeah.
So how I got there, Terrell tell you from the first day we got arrested and hit the county jail, I was planning on escaping from the first day.
We was in Cortland. He told us, we looking out the cause you can go cut your own hair. And I used to go on a visit. He go cut his hair, and we like try to go down there together, and he be looking out how would the workers be going out of the door. Cause once you go out of that door, you outside.
Yeah.
So he's probably not even that. We in where the heck was that? Tioga?
Cortland.
No.
Tioga. Yeah.
We in Tioga. So every day we going to visit. He like, yo, you ready? I'm looking like ready. He like ready. So we in a visit, and it's like it's a door. You gotta time it. So if this door just about to get ready to close.
Yeah.
So he just he's like, yo, you ready? Look at him like ready. I said, this nigga done hopped up. Ran, hit the door, jumped over the leg. He's gone.
Where'd you go?
Man, out the door.
Yeah, I was gone. I was gone.
So this is the first escape.
Yeah, this is the first escape.
So this is out of Tioga.
Yep, this out of Tioga.
So where'd you they just ran to the field and they
No field, there was a whole lot of water around us.
I ran and I went in the house. And I was hiding in the house. But I said, man, I got to get out this house. So when I left out the house, they was all in the area. So I tried to jump in this truck and pull off. But I'm glad the truck didn't start because that probably would have been another charge or something. Cause I wasn't trying to get caught.
Yeah, definitely. You escaped. Yeah. You ain't trying to get caught. That ain't the plan.
Yeah. They brought his ass back. He was dirty. Talk about something. Terrell, I'm all right. I'm laughing. They came got his.
So
ass
when they got y'all,
day.
let me get. How many of y'all was in the case?
Well, when they first arrested us, it was only.
No, me, you, JJ, Amp, Jeff Hines. He wasn't with us.
Yeah.
Oh, and fuck it.
Yeah. So they ended up picking more people up on the super.
It was like a superseded type, they do now with cases.
Yeah.
Start small and grow branches.
Yeah.
You know. So okay, how you get to the Ville?
So when I escaped from Tioga, what he was just telling you about, that's what made them take me to the pub because they say ain't nobody gonna get out the pub. But I think somebody escaped from the pub.
No, he almost.
Oh, he did?
Biz.
Yeah, somebody got up out of there.
Nah, he didn't get out of there. They caught him at the window.
I thought somebody got out.
Man,
Biz.
somebody got up there off that rooftop.
No, he didn't. You can't get out that rooftop.
84 number, man.
You can't get out the rooftop.
All right, man. Where you gonna go out the rooftop?
Yeah, you can't. You're not going nowhere.
And I think
Biz.
a dude threw a hose on the side and went down.
I don't know. I know Biz went to the door
here, man.
and they caught him at the front window.
So back then, like, okay, you get out, like, where are you going?
Back then?
No, I'm talking about like in the Justice Center, the pub. Yeah. If you on the roof, where you going? Like, that's a long way down.
That's why I remember, I could be wrong, but I thought a guy had a hose or some sheets tied real tight,
something like that.
and he lowered himself down. Well, we can find out though.
Okay, but hey, okay, so you in the pub now. What's going on?
So I'm in the pub, right? And it's crowded, it's packed, right? So every day they sending people up to Janesville because the pub is so overcrowded. So by it being overcrowded, they not looking at nobody's paperwork. If they would have looked at my paperwork, they'd have saw that I wasn't supposed to go to the Ville. But whoever was doing the paperwork, they would just put me on the drive with everybody else. Hey, you boom, gotta go to the Ville. You know what I mean?
So you wasn't supposed to go to the Ville.
No, I wasn't supposed to go to the
Because
Ville.
I'm on like, if you escape from this place, why would they send you to the Ville?
Yeah, and like I
To
said,
a home base at that. It's people, familiar faces up there.
yeah, and that's what happened. Whoever was doing the draft, they just probably said, okay, we need 10, 15, 20 people on the bus today to the Ville. Let's go. You know what I mean?
So you make it up to the Ville.
Yeah, I make it up to the Ville.
How long you in the Ville before you plan this great escape up there?
Because I escaped in Tioga in November. So like I say, once I get to the Ville, I'm planning every day. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get away every day, you know? So...
Now, do you have a lot of money out here that you was trying to get to
I mean,
to go on the run? Like, what was the mission?
I mean, the mission was really just to get out and get away. But people just add different stories with the mission.
Yeah.
But I can tell you this, I didn't have my plans right for once I got out. I just was planning on escape. You know what I mean?
Once you got out, you freestyled everything.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And then it was a blizzard. You know what I mean? So,
it was cold then.
Yeah, so that hurted me too, you know what I mean? But
so now you get out, right?
Yeah.
How you get out?
Well, like I say, it's all done, but I'm not gonna say the CO name.
No. We ain't
you know what I mean? But a CO came up to me. He called me for mail one day, and he was like, "Tyrone Hines." So I go to get my mail, and he's like, "Man, you're not Tyrone Hines." I said, "Man, you just called me for mail, right?" So he said, "Go get your ID." So when I go get my ID, he said, "Oh, you is Tyrone Hines." He said, "You don't remember me?" I said, "Nah, man." He said, "I used to help you out with your homework and everything when you was going to Henniger." I still don't remember him to the day.
Yeah.
But now I started playing it off. So I said, yeah, so, you know what I mean? I just started, you know what I mean? Because I said, man, whatever it might be, phone calls, whatever, you know what I mean? I'm going to try to. So every day he talking to me up there. Hey, man, boom, boom. So one day he was like, man, I know if you want to skate, you can skate. I said, yeah, man, I ain't trying to skate. I said, I ain't trying to skate. I'm trying to fight my charge. He said, I know, man, because it's easy as hell to get out of here. But he not talking to me trying to encourage me to skate.
But
he just generally just having
just
a
conversation.
Just yeah. But he said that in each corner of the room is a crawl space. So he said, when you crawl through that ceiling and you come down, but it's only in certain rooms.
Yeah.
You're going to come to the crawl space. So I'm taking all the information in. He don't know that I'm planning on escaping. You know what I mean? So one day I said, man, I was planning it, planning. So that's what I did. I went through the ceiling. And when I went through exactly like he said, and you come down.
So he basically gave you the blueprint.
Hey.
So now, so you followed. How long before you got there? You know what I'm saying? Before this situation happened. It had to be like February, right?
Yeah, because I escaped on February 2nd, 3rd. So
the coldest part of Syracuse. February.
Man, it just happened to be a blizzard that day. You know.
Wow. So you get out. What happens?
So once again, when I get out, right, somebody was supposed to be waiting for me at the bottom of the hill, right? But I told that person, don't be there because I said, I don't know if I'm going to get caught. And I don't want them to be searching the area.
Yeah.
So when I got out, it took me about an hour to get through the crawl space and get over the barbed wire fences and stuff. But once I got over that, it took me about 3 hours to jog down to get down to Syracuse. So really, that killed a lot of time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's 3 hours a lot.
You
when
talking about
running from prison. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit, that's crucial time. The car would have cut it in.
There you go. You know what I mean? They would have gave me a chance. So by the time I get to Syracuse, it's 10 o'clock. That's count time.
Ooh.
Man.
So now, when they do count, they realize that I'm gone. But one guard told them that he had just saw me when he counted. So they said if you just saw him when you counted, he should still be in this area. So they said they spent another hour just in that area.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? Why? I was just now getting down to Syracuse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like I say, it was a blizzard. You know what I mean? So now what made it hard too? Even people that love you and care about you, when you on the run from the feds. Some people want to help you, but some people don't want no problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and then all it takes is one mistake. All it takes is one person to see you, spot you. You know what I mean?
So where did you go? Where the first place you went?
Man, the first place I went was I came down Seneca Turnpike, right? And when I got down the Seneca Turnpike, a guy saw me. He was with his moms. He said, "Hey, get in, man. Get in, man." I said, "Man, how you know?" He said, "Man, I know you're supposed to be in jail." So he gave me a ride over by Jersey's, right? So now while I'm over by Jersey's, another lady stick her head out the door and say, "Hey, Hines." So I'm like, "Man, how these people?" So
the neighborhood hero, man. They know
yeah,
you.
so that made me panic, right? So then I went to my crib. I'm knocking on the door. I can't get in, right? So I go to my sister's crib. She don't want to let me in. She's nervous, you know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? So a couple of my homeboys ended up giving me a ride up to Springfield Garden
So what's up at Springfield? Why did you want to go to Springfield Garden?
because there was a lady I knew up there that nobody never really knew that I knew her. So I felt that
safe house.
Yeah, but once again, I'm using the phone. I'm calling my homeboys. I'm calling my family members. And I'm thinking they're not going to tap the phone that quick. But all along, they got the phones tapped. You know what I mean?
Quick.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Because they probably already had these taps from before. Maybe they just reactivated it.
I mean, it could. Well, they got time limits on the warrant, so yeah, so they got to
Probably, yeah. So at this time, you're up in Springfield Garden now.
yeah.
What's going on?
So I'm up there. I'm like, man, I got to get out of town, right? I'm like, man, I got to get out of town. So, but it's a blizzard, you know what I mean? So the blizzard is helping me, but it's hurting me too, you know.
So how'd you get money?
Well, a couple of homeboys dropped me off a few dollars. I think Tyrone, you dropped me some money? No. Wes, you brought me some money, Wes?
No, you ain't come see me. You started at my door and took the ride. Somebody told me you was in the project.
Yeah, so people was bringing me a few dollars just to...
So as the police come up there, what's going on in your head?
Well, I'm thinking they're going to kill me. You know what I mean? Like, see, I've been running from the police back in the day. So, like how you see what the police doing now, I'm thinking that's what they was going to do. They'll tell you, police pull me over, I run. Back then, so.
Yeah.
Good attitude.
Yeah, so.
Good attitude.
Yeah, so when the SWAT team come up to Springfield Garden, and they got the whole house around it, I'm thinking they're going to kill me. You know what I mean? So.
Wow. That's
So I lied to them and said I got a hostage in the house, but I didn't have no hostage. That was just to calm them down.
So how'd you end up coming out? What happened?
Well, you know how police is when they investigating you, and they get familiar with you from watching you every day, pulling you over. They start telling you those stories. They start, hey, you got a son. They start talking about your family. They start talking, you know that
Yeah, like in the movies. Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
You know what I mean? But they was doing the same thing what I was doing to them. I wanted them to calm down, and they wanted me to calm down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
But they think you got a hostage.
yeah, they think I got a hostage. You know
But
what
you
I mean?
really don't.
Nah, I really don't. You know what I mean?
So
Because when I look out the window, I see them all on the roof, and I see them coming and everything. So I'm like, man, you know what I mean? Yeah, so I wasn't trying to trust it. You know what I mean?
So it was like, so they get you now. No more escape in your mind.
Nah, yeah.
You ready to fight these charges?
Nah, it was escaping my mind again.
Oh, it was still in your mind.
Always, yeah. But I could have had a chance to escape again when I was in the Justice Center. You know what I mean? But Wes was with me there. That's why he laughing. And you know why? When it happened, I called Wes in the gym so he could be a witness on my behalf because I thought it was a setup. You know what I mean? But I could escape again. But my aunt, one of my aunts came and told me and said, "Yo, don't escape no more." You know what I mean? So I took her advice.
It was pointless at this time because you keep escaping and it's like, how far I'm actually getting.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
And they added charges on you.
Yeah, you know.
Now, did they charge you with these escapes?
See, they charged me with the state escape, right?
Yeah.
But when I pled guilty I try to plead guilty to the state escape so I can stay close to home, be in the state joint.
Yeah.
But when I go get sentenced, they didn't sentence me for the state because they knew I was gonna get sentenced for the feds. So really, I had two charges for escapes. I had two different escape charges.
Yeah.
But they dismissed them.
Because they knew the feds was going.
Yeah.
They didn't want to deal with you no more.
Yeah.
They like,
because they knew I was going to get mandatory life.
So when you figured out you was going to get mandatory life, what's that like? What was that?
Well, when I didn't know I was going to get mandatory life until to the day of sentencing.
So when you take this plea, you don't know you get mandatory life?
Nah. I'm thinking I'm going to go get 20, 25, 30 years. Because, see, at the time, I didn't know that 848B carried mandatory life.
So the lawyer never explained it to you?
See, and that's one of the reasons I'm home now. Because once you figure out the charge, who going to let their client plead to a mandatory life?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So now that's why when at the end of the day, that's why the judge knew, like I say, I was the first one charged with this charge. So the judge, the prosecutor, and my lawyer, they didn't even understand the charge because I was the first one in there. They thought that they could charge me with the regular Kingpin charge and then give me mandatory life. That's the reason why I'm home now.
Oh, okay. So, but at the time, they didn't know that.
They didn't know that because that's their first time. It's just like you in this studio.
Yeah.
When you hook yourself up the first time, it's probably things that you learned the second time, third time.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? So imagine, same thing with a charge. My judge was only a judge for 2 years at the time.
Wow, young.
And then I'm going to tell you something else. They never had nobody come in front of them facing mandatory life, right?
Yeah.
Because if they did, they wouldn't have told me when I pled guilty that I faced 20 to life. Oh, no, they told me possible life, right? When you face a mandatory life, it's no possible there.
So if you knowing that, you would have took it to trial.
There you go.
Because why would I cop out to life?
There you go.
I'll waste y'all money then.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? Or stand on trial. Like, why would I cop out to life?
There you go.
But everybody don't know that story.
Yep, and that's why my judge started fighting for me back in 2017 because this is the same argument that I've been arguing from day one.
Yeah.
Like, why would I plead guilty to mandatory life? You know what I mean?
So, Don, you get sentenced. What's going on?
When I get sentenced and they tell me mandatory life, I'm like, man, I got to keep it real with you. You feel that you lost everything that you built up for, All the fun is gone, You leaving your kids at a young age. You leaving your brothers and sisters. You leaving some of your friends. You know what I mean? You just leaving life. You losing your freedom, and you talking about mandatory life. Something that I've never heard nobody get. You see what I'm saying? Now you see people get mandatory life. You see people get life quite a bit now.
Yeah.
But
even people catch a murder case and come home.
There you go.
Like, got a date.
There you go.
They didn't give you no date.
And you know what, too? And one of my arguments was to the judge was that all the big cartel dudes, all of them had bodies and this and that, more drugs, more money, and they was only getting 20 years, 25 years. And y'all gave me more time than all of them.
Because y'all had no violence in your case.
No violence. Yeah.
No
yeah.
violence in your case.
No.
And life in prison. They
Yes.
try to get you. Well, they get
Yes.
you fought it back. So
Yeah.
now you into this bid, 20 life bid. What's going on in the first couple of years? What's that like?
Well, the first year was tough, right? The first year was tough. I'm going to tell you why the first year was... Well, I'm going to take it back for the people listening. All the years in prison is tough, right? But the first year was tough because you're around people that you got to get familiar with. You know, you're around people from all over the United States. You're not around all your homeboys and your family and all that no more. And you're in a different state. So you down there in jail trying to get used to how it run, how it go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was tough because you're trying to get used to, you know, figuring out what's going on. But then at the same time, you missing everything that's going on back where you from.
How was it back then, like in the feds? What was that like?
Man, Atlanta Federal Prison was the first prison, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now you got quite a few of them that's dangerous now, but at the time, Atlanta was the most dangerous, you know? Like when I first got there, a CO had just got killed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Atlanta was dangerous.
Wow, CO got killed there?
Yeah. Atlanta was dangerous, man. And one of the reasons why Atlanta was dangerous, because a lot of COs was bringing in drugs, bringing in all type of stuff. You know
So basically it was a drug game in prison.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It was all, and the warden didn't care. You know what I mean?
Like some movie shit.
Yeah, so Atlanta, and you wasn't locking in till like 12 at night.
So what was going on, like being from the New York Northern District going into Atlanta federal system, like how that worked there?
See, like one thing how I always carry it. If you walk and mind your business and treat people with respect, those people are start to really respect you. You know what I mean? So I never had no problems in Atlanta Federal Prison. You know what I mean? So they looked out for me down there, you know what I mean? Figure I'm all the way from Syracuse, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I say, it was just learning how they do things down there, you know?
Southern hospitality. You had it down there.
Yeah,
So you're young going into the system.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? You're
Yeah.
under 30 years old. Life sentence mandatory.
yeah.
So as you going into this bid, when do you start getting into the books?
Well, what
Like,
books? The law books?
The law books and stuff.
Okay. Well, my first year when I got down there,
Yeah.
I was playing a lot of basketball because sports is big. Actually, Brother Reese.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. He used to tell me.
Yeah. So in prison, people love to come watch good basketball games. So I was caught up into playing sports my first couple of years, right? But I knew that, man, if I didn't get into these law books, I knew that I'd be playing basketball in jail for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? So in Atlanta, I couldn't get into the books because there was too much distraction. But once I got to Lewisburg and I sat down, really got focused, and I found the era, what I'm telling y'all about now, about the mandatory life, that gave me daylight. You know what I mean?
So when you started doing your case, when did you start getting into helping other brothers out with their case? Because they said you was doing, that you was good at that.
Well, when I was at Lewisburg, when I started working on my case, I started helping guys. I started out small, like if a guy needed a warrant, something like that, took it off. So I started getting better. You know?
So you was like the jail lawyer?
Yeah, one of them, you know?
Yeah.
But just like I don't want to use the drug game for example, but just like how you build the drug game, being creative, how you win cases, you got to be creative. When you're trying to win people freedoms, there's some things that you have to do that a lawyer might not do. You know what I mean? So that will separate me from some of the jailhouse lawyers, you know?
So as this time going, as you get into this bid, what are some of the losses you took on the outside?
Well, my first year when I got down there, I was playing a lot of basketball because sports is big. Actually, Brother Reese, right? So in prison, people love to come watch good basketball games. So I was calling up Well, like family.
Yeah, like, is there anything that went on outside that you wish you could have been?
Yeah. I lost my brother. I lost my granddaughter. I lost about 2 or 3 aunts. I lost an uncle.
Wow.
And I lost some homeboys that I was close with, So, yeah.
Now, you was not able to attend none of their funerals, right?
Nah, the feds, they say they'll let you attend, but, man, I never seen nobody, not me, see nobody attend from the feds, go to a funeral. I heard stories of it, but...
Wow. That's deep.
Yeah.
So now as you get into, now you in your bed and you going into the books, when do you start seeing light on your case?
Well, when I started seeing light is when, in Lewisburg, when I read a case that said that the mandatory life and the other part of the Kingpin statute, those were different charges.
Yeah.
So, see, for instance, so the viewers who listening can understand. In some of my paperwork, they say that I distribute between 100 to 1,000 kilos, right?
Yeah.
Now, if that would have been in my indictment, I wouldn't be right here at your podcast.
Yeah.
But that's the error that was missing.
So that errors will help you with your case.
There you go, because I'm arguing all the time that even though y'all gave me mandatory life, y'all saying that all the drugs help y'all give me the mandatory life. But if I'm not charged with the drugs, then that factor is no good.
Yeah.
But the prosecutor and the judge never would admit that they was wrong. But come 2017, my judge finally admit that they was wrong.
Yeah.
So he started fighting for my release in 2017. So I should have been home in 2017. Yeah,
So 2017, you should have been home.
Yeah, I should have been home.
So what? So as you going, so it wasn't with the Obama situation.
No, because the Obama situation, right? It was dealing with the drugs that I'm telling you about.
Yeah.
It still allowed them to use the drugs, that even if it wasn't in my... Now, Obama, I give him credit because he started it. All Trump did was just signed it to make it retroactive. But the part that Trump signed said that if y'all didn't have the drugs in his indictment, then you got to let him go.
So if you would have had drugs in your indictment, you would
I would be
you
still
still be sick.
I'd be still in jail because now that's the reason that helped them give me the mandatory life.
So I know we speeded a lot ahead with the 26 years. 26 years is a lot of years to do anywhere, but in jail it's crazy.
Yeah.
So did you when you start seeing hope, it like changed your mindset?
Yeah, because a lot of people will tell you when they outside, when it's 90 degrees, 80 degrees, they outside playing basketball, walking the yard. I'm in the law library. In the law library.
Yeah, my brother used to tell me, you stayed in that library and the books and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So was it ever a time that you didn't have hope, that you felt like giving up?
Nah, never that, right? But
yeah.
I'll be honest with you, I just ain't never knew when I was gonna get out, right? Meaning, I just ain't have a clue. But once you know that you right, you always gonna have hope.
Absolutely. So take us back to November 2019. What was that like?
What day?
The day you came home, baby. The day you came home. The day they let the doors open. The day this young man right here said, "Yo, Hines home, man." What was that like, man?
Hey, I'm gonna tell you something, man. I'm still really in shock. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it was a rumor that I was supposed to be, and this is a true story, and this is how my life been playing out. I didn't have a clue that I was coming home in November.
Right.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? But when I called Tyrone, somebody showed them a list that I was on the halfway house that I was supposed to be coming home.
So you didn't even know?
I didn't know. But that wasn't what Tyrone was talking about. that wasn't true from the federal prison standpoint, right?
Yeah.
So I just rolled with it. I just said, man, if they think I'm coming home in November, I'm gonna go. And I kid you not,
We started playing a party.
That's when I came home in November. That's a true story.
Wow.
So, but you just imagine, you got a mandatory life, and then you get an email from your attorney saying time served. Just like that, right?
Yeah.
So you ain't got no, like I tell people, if I knew I was coming home, I would have had a ride waiting. I had to call Tyrone, The lieutenants said, man, listen here. Come in this office, call your ride. I'm in there calling everybody. You see what I'm saying?
They right there, you try to escape, nah.
Man, you know what I mean? They call him back. I get in the lieutenant office. They got numbers where they done call back, so they probably didn't believe me.
Yeah, I called back.
Yeah, but
I said, Hines, stop playing with me.
yeah, but still to the day.
So I'm on my way, man.
Yeah.
So I'm saying you now mind you, people, when you accomplished, how many books did you write while you was in prison?
I wrote four books.
What's the name of them books?
There they go right there. Let me see.
Show the people these books we got going on here. Tell us about them books.
That's Drugs, Money, and Violence with Tayanda, Aisha, and Angel.
Yeah, put it over here or something. Yeah.
And Angel on the cover.
Okay, that's Drugs, Money, and Violence.
Yes.
So how'd you get into the book writing thing? What made you just you doing the law library, you doing the books? How you get all that to coexist at once?
See, it's just like in life, right?
Uh-huh.
You gotta be creative. You gotta stay busy. You gotta do things that everybody else ain't doing, right? So in prison, everybody caught up in the prison life. So I wanted to do some things that kept me away from what they doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if dudes over here playing basketball all day, lifting weights, that's cool. That's how they do their bid. But I wanted to do something that I wanted to be able to, if I was able going to be home again,
Yeah.
I wanted to have something to build off once I came home.
So let's go through them books. So we got the first one, Money, Drugs, and Violence. You know they got a web series that Money and Violence?
Yeah.
That took off?
Yeah, they probably got it from me, man.
Yeah.
This actually the same book, but I just switched covers because that's Mo Smith, that's Marisha Stinson, this Fong Owens.
Yeah, that's a
right?
better look, yeah.
Yeah, so this the book that we trying to do the movie about. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
this actually my first book that I wrote in prison.
Yeah, I remember seeing this book, and I briefly saw it and tried to get my hands on it a lot of times. They used to be in the corner stores and be sold out.
Yeah.
So what this one was like?
This one, it was just knowing that you could write something down on paper with a pencil. And had the whole town going crazy. Had a whole...
Yeah, he had a lot of names in there, so everybody's like, yo, open the book.
Yeah, so... But this book is actually these two books right here. It's just that I revised it. But just knowing that you can write something on paper, and some people even thought it was a true story.
Yeah,
You know
facts.
what I mean?
Coming from you, they gonna think that.
But it was motivation for me too to know that was part of knowing that, because I wrote this book in 99.
Yeah, you realize how much power you still had, even with a pen.
And it lets you know too that you could do things even while you was in prison. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you was in jail, but your mind was, everything still did to you to, elevate yourself.
There you go. You know what I mean?
And what's the other book?
This one called Wanted by the Feds. They're just something that really, you know what I mean? I just wanted to do too. You know what I mean? Just to kick it out there. Always try to show my homeboys, they love the cover,
Yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah, they love the spotlight,
So now we tell people, where can they get these books if they want to?
Well, man, these books are always selling out, right?
Yeah, fact.
So I got to reorder some more now. You know what I mean?
Because I always wanted a book,
Yeah, I got you, though. You know what I mean? This one called Shots Fired. This is the one I usually use for schools, community centers, because it's a message behind it.
Yeah, facts.
That's Natasha, that's Jamisha, and that's Kush. You know,
Yeah,
I just like to try to put ladies on the cover, just to try to, you know what I mean,
I know.
just to try to give it some more flavor.
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
a fact. That's good
You know,
things.
but
So now you get out of prison, you out of jail, man. What's going on? What you had? What was your first, plan in motion like to do?
my first plan was I took some advice from one of my homegirls, Jamelia Smokes, right? Like I said, one day I talked to her on the phone and she said, Hines, I heard you coming home. And she said, yo, listen here. When you do come home, don't try to play catch up. Just take one day at a time. So I took her advice. So every day that I'm out, I always try to do what I got to do, but I'm not trying to play catch up. But I also I've been working on doing things to try to bring attention to the violence. You know what I mean? Trying to come up with something to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I seen you had the ceasefire. Tell us about that program.
Well, the ceasefire, when we was up there in Raybrook, that was a combination. That was an idea came from a lot of the Syracuse guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We all got together and talked about it and came up with different ideas to try to work together, try to bring attention. And that was something good, too.
So what was up with the you had the balloon release thing?
Yeah, I had the balloon release. I got the balloon release idea from when my granddaughter passed away, right?
Yeah.
I planned a 3-day event for her, and one of the things was a balloon release. So I said, man, let me do this on a bigger level. So that's how I came up with the balloon release that we had down by the bus hub.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, but I'm going to tell you something too, D. All those events that we talking about, if you ever look at my judge order, that's one of his biggest reasons for letting me out. He said, even though I had mandatory life, I still continue to do events in the community when most people would have been like,
Yeah, mind you was doing this in jail.
yeah, I was doing this in jail.
Like that's the thing I don't want to leave out, people. He wasn't outside doing this stuff. This stuff that we were speaking about is stuff that he was doing while he was still incarcerated with a mandatory life sentence on him, not knowing if he coming home.
Yeah.
So now that you get free, I see you started to.
It's an umbrella. It's a different few things under an umbrella, you know. And basically what Man Up is trying to do is get everybody to, start doing things to make a difference, you know what I mean? Respect, responsibility, leadership, you know what I mean? And, just trying to put together some programs that be helpful for the community, at the same time rebuild the community, and just network with different other organizations, but Man Up is really to really let people see that you can have an ideal in jail,
Yeah.
and come out here and make it work.
Now I see you started down on Castle, right?
Yeah.
With the selling the food. Tell us how that all started right there.
Well, like I say, coming home, you got to take one day at a time. So I knew that most of my family and my homeboys hung out in that area, and that's a hot area. You know what I mean? But it could be a good area, it could be a bad area. You know what I mean? But I took advantage of it because it was a good opportunity to put my Man Up out there for people to see. So we started out with a grill, selling food. You know what I mean? And that allowed people to come visit us to share their ideas, share their concerns, you know what I mean? And it also let other people see that you can start a small idea and build off it, And now they want me to help build that parking lot up for next summer. You know what I mean? You got city officials coming at me, want me to help build that parking lot up. A parking lot that's been there for years that other people could have did this. You know what I mean? But you got to, and that's what Man Up is, to give people hope, inspire them, motivate them,
So like, since you, like, it was crazy because I seen when Terrell's putting up your petition, it was some people that was against it. And I'm like, your case had no violence in it. Nobody died from the case. Nobody, like, who want to see a man in prison?
See,
And it's like, it's crazy how this town is, how this world is, and you see people what are you mad at? Like, that man ain't kill nobody. He went to
Yeah.
jail for selling drugs. I mean,
Yeah. See, like I tell people, selling drugs is wrong, right?
fact.
But you also got to look at the person who might be mad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They might not know the full story, right? Or they might be intimidated by me. Because, like I say, it's just a matter of time before I connect all the dots and put this big plan together, what I got going on. So if people out here who've been out here for years and not doing nothing, they don't got no type of confidence in themselves, of course they're going to be mad when somebody like me come out. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know that feeling. I mean, you're a natural born leader, and
Yeah.
it's a yin and a yang comes with everything.
Yeah.
And it's just like when you come home and some people, a lot of jealousy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of people, a lot of cats is jealous, like, man, fuck that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
done heard it all. You done
Yeah,
heard good
yeah,
and bad.
yeah.
And it's like, man, no man deserves to sit in prison for, especially for selling drugs
Yeah.
and you didn't murder nobody.
Yeah. See, D, let me back up to that, what you said about jealousy, about this, right? You know why? Because you take a person, right? Say like you take a person who might be mad, and you take that person and you put him in federal prison with a mandatory life sentence. He might say to himself, he wouldn't be able to do everything I've done. And he probably wouldn't have got his freedom. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a fact.
So when you make the impossible happen, people don't understand that.
Man, that's
You
just
know?
like now. You know, we doing our podcast, and you know, people might. There's gonna be a lot of people that might don't like it, be
Hey.
mad. You know what I'm
Hey.
saying? But we getting it out here. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And it's the positive message that we sending tonight is, if you was listening from start to finish, is, you know what I'm saying? We not trying to get you, entice you to rob nobody, sell
Yeah.
drugs. We trying to entice you to do right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the story, you see the Man Up program. You see 26 years in prison. You know what I'm saying? So remember that. You know what I'm saying?
And you know what, 2D? When you first asked me to come on your podcast, right? I didn't even say no or nothing.
Nah, you didn't hesitate at all, man. You was fully with it, like.
And I tell everybody, when guys like yourself is doing something,
Support that.
support it. You know what I mean?
I ain't going even front, man. The first time I called, I was debating. I talked to Cousin, man, and I was like, "Yo, you know what? I should get Hines up here." He said, "Yeah, that's a good idea, great idea." Call him. I said, so you know, I contemplated. I'm like, man, that man probably ain't trying to hear that shit. So you know what I'm saying? Like, that just my mind. And like,
Nah.
I said, man, fuck it, I'm shit. He just the only thing he can say is no.
Nah, but see, I know to be successful, and that's going back to what we talked about earlier. Like, I was telling Wes back in the summer, right, that, like, a lot of times, people don't want certain people out in that parking lot. And it's understandable for some reasons, right? But when we was growing up, people didn't kick us off of places where we was hanging out.
Hell no.
You see what I'm saying? So why you gonna keep kicking people away from stuff and denying them an opportunity?
Yeah.
You don't know their potential. And that's another thing that we failed to do. You know what I mean?
One thing that you said that I like, that you didn't build all this by yourself. You admit that, like, it was your team, like your
Yeah.
crew that made, and you just took the slack for,
Yeah.
you know, the good and the bad. You took the slack for the good and the bad. Because when they used to say the robberies and all that, yo, Hines running the crib and took $1 million. Hines did this, Hines. They
Yeah.
never said everybody. They just said you.
Yeah. But like, I'm here to say that you might hear 1,000 stories about me, but I had a lot of homeboys that we had a lot of fun. You know what I mean? Good and bad. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So
yeah.
that's what the Boogie Downs is about. You know what I mean? Just mainly having fun.
So
you know?
before I finish up, where'd y'all get that name Boogie Down from? Where that came
Well,
from?
it really come from us growing up. Most of us growing up in the bricks, and it was just something, a new name. Because one crew I was part of, we used to be BC crew. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it was just something, a different name.
Because, one people might say, that Boogie Down was KRS-One and all that, but that was like a little bit before that, I believe.
See, like sometimes people will say different stuff, right? But you always got somebody taking something from something.
Yeah, that's
know
a
what I
fact.
mean?
That's another thing I hated with black people. Black people get so mad if a black person, a rapper or something, take the name of a black icon or an old hustler that was black, and they say, oh, he bit that nigga like Rick Ross or something. But they can take Capone, Noriega, and all these other
Yeah.
people name and utilize them in the
Yeah.
music industry, and nobody says nothing.
Yeah.
But because he took that name from another black man and utilized it in the music industry, he's wrong.
Yeah.
You know, like 50 Cent, there was the other 50 Cent that was a killer in the project. 50 Cent took his name.
Yeah.
Now people were saying something about that, but y'all not saying nothing about the Gottis, about the Capone,
Yeah.
about the Noriega. Y'all not
Yeah.
saying nothing. It's
Yeah.
like, why y'all always... It's just like that in the world, man. We are our own enemy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we got to get over that. And it's good that you came up here, brother. I appreciate everything you did. And I want you to, before we hang up, I want you to show the people your tires and whatever you got going on. You know what I'm saying? And just the man up stuff. And where can the people get that? Where can
Man, every time we get some stuff like this, like I say, it sell out. So we gotta order more.
So what we gonna do is we gonna sit down, probably get a website up, get a website, and then people can make their purchases, and we can fulfill the orders.
Yeah, I'm working on my website right now. And he told me one time. He told me, he was like, man, you got to go hard just like everybody else. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So not just he told me. So then he told me that, and then I started. And then my uncle Hines, he was like, yo, nigga, we gonna go find a building. And he pushed me to go find this building, and I got a building now, and I'm trying to elevate. So I want to say thanks to my Uncle Hodge. He helped me. I like to thank Hines for giving me that push too. Like people don't understand. Like I used to be terrible. Terrible. I did a whole 360. A whole 360. And I'm glad I did a whole 360.
Man, you survived, baby.
Because
You was out here the whole
I probably would have
time.
been in jail or dead. But I'm glad to change. I'm glad for the word in the ear, because it ain't just go one ear right out the other. You know what I mean? Like I said, Hines told me that, yo, you got to go out there. You got to go harder than everybody else. And then my uncle was like, yeah, you want to go get this building. And he pushed me. When he pushed me, I just said, you know what?
Absolutely proud of you,
know what I mean? And then my grandmother always wanted me to stay out of trouble. So I promised her that I was going to stay out of trouble. And I named my shop right after her, Tyrone's Creations. And I ain't going to let her down.
That's a fact. And we got my man Wes over. He been quiet over here, man. We're gonna see what you got to say to the people, Wes, man.
Man, low. Shout out to my big brothers and Burgess, Cletus, aka C Moore.
Yeah.
Love you niggas.
Yeah, that's a
Done
fact.
deal. Still love you, bro.
That's a fact, man. It's been wonderful having y'all up here, man. You know what I'm saying? Relive that time period, man, because I had a great time when I was young and I was a kid and I was living that era. That was like one of the best moments of my life. You know what I'm saying? Probably some of the worst in y'all's, but like it was the best in ours because we was kids and we ain't know no better. You know what I'm saying? And it was a lot of love. Like I said, the love was there.
Hey, yo, is one more thing I want to say. Like, Rufus told me one day, he's like, yo, you made it hard. You made it hard for some of us out here with they shorty, because, I mean, I got it from him. Hey, listen, they want it, they get it. I'm telling you. We used to do mall, movies, rent, car payments. We did it all. And let me tell you something one other time. I used to have all my money in my pocket. I probably had like $4,000, something $3,500 in my pocket. Hines like, yo, what are you doing with all that money in your pocket? Put that up, man. Bring like $20 out with you.
Yeah. You know,
told us about that budget back then too.
Yeah. Marketing and budget.
Learn to sing gospel.
So before we wrap it up, what you got coming up, man? What you got coming up?
Well, first I want to say this too, right? I'm proud of Rufus, right? Because Rufus was always my man when he was younger. You know what I mean?
Owner.
And I'm proud of everything that he accomplished. You know what I mean? I'm proud of what he's doing. You know what I mean? Because this was my little man when I was, you know what I mean? When I was out there, you know what I mean? He was younger, but you know what I mean? So I got a lot of love for him, man. I hope other young people follow his footsteps and what he's doing. You know what I mean? And continue to, you know, pay attention and, you know what I mean, work together and learn from him, you know? So
that's one thing these young cats gotta understand. It's all right to learn, man. You gotta be a student to be a great leader.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and that's the one thing we all learn.
And like they say, see, when a person stops talking about you, that's when you gotta worry. but when they constantly talking about you, you know
Man,
you're on their
listen.
mind, man.
Hines always been a household name. That's still like way back. And that's no cap. That's no cap.
Yeah.
Like, and rather, even the younger, who is Hines? They don't know. Like, they thinking, they don't know, but they heard the name before.
Yeah.
And it was always good. I never heard, like, bad until it got to the end of you coming home, and then it's like, some people say, but other than that, I always seen the good.
Yeah.
I never seen the, the
See-
Rodney Hines. I never seen these different
Yeah.
faces and characters you played. But when we was kid, I know who I saw. You know what I'm saying? I know who he was around. I know who he brought me around.
Yeah.
And we went to the Givens Block. Man, that was love down there.
Yeah.
I mean, y'all was doing something wrong, but at the
Yeah.
same time, y'all showed the young cats like myself mad love. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It was never no.
Yeah, he always been a good dude. Like a person to come home and he be like, yo, here, this on you, and don't ask for nothing. People be they be getting ready to get kicked out of their house and don't have the rent money. Hines dropped that rent money.
And
off.
one thing you did do right, I remember we was on the phone the other day, you said you didn't feel like you was a good leader, but I have to say, you taught them other values, like how to treat people.
Yeah.
Because, when they was, all the older, they used to treat us good. You know what I'm saying? They ain't like, yo, get away. You know what I'm saying? They spread the same love that, you showed them.
Yeah.
So they did learn a lot from you, especially that went a long way with myself.
Yeah.
Because I'm like that now with the young cats. I'm always a giving person. I get it from my dad, got it from y'all guys. You know what I mean? Like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you got to always keep that, you can't let nobody abuse you, but you
Yeah.
got to, you know what I'm saying? You got to give somebody a chance. Give somebody hope. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know nobody's situation, nobody's predicament.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate to have you up here. And like I said, man, I'm glad I hit that message box and went for it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes I can't think for you. The only thing I can do is ask. You know what I'm saying? So
See, D, it's just like I said earlier, and not to repeat myself. In ordinary for people to be successful in this town, they got to support one another. Like, see how you got this podcast? There might be somebody out there who watching this podcast, right? This might be another opportunity down the road for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that wouldn't have never came about if we didn't connect. I'm just using for example.
Yeah, that's a fact.
So it's just like tomorrow. If I go home and somebody called me and said, hey, man, I got something over here that I want you to be a part of. As long as it's in good taste, I'm for that. You know what I mean? Because I got a newsletter that I'm trying to turn into a magazine right now.
Yeah.
And I need people's stories.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
if they say I can't use their stories, then my newsletter ain't going to be no good. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So people have to get out there and learn to really support each other. And
I hear that, people. We got to get back in that support system. Man. You know what I'm saying?
Support.
Like, every community has their own community, but we have our community, but our community don't spend and don't support each other, and we need to get back into that.
Yeah.
Because back in the times, it was like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, it was great having y'all guys up here, man. I appreciate y'all time and everything. We're going to close out. This Top Tier Money Podcast. We sitting up here with Boom, T, Hines, Boogie Down, Tyrone. We got my man Wes over in the corner, man. Salute to y'all brothers, man. I appreciate having y'all up here, and we catch y'all next time, next show. And I'm going to let y'all know, you know what I'm saying, anybody want to come up here, you want to spit your story, I mean, we ain't going to, you got something doing in business, you know what I'm saying, I'm trying to support all the black businesses. So anybody with a business that's starting, they want to get their stuff out here, I'll air you, we'll talk about it. But, you got to be different, though. You got to be different because people want to see different stuff. You know what I mean? So if you got something different to bring to the table, hit me up, inbox me. If you got, and we're going to be talking about different stuff. We're going to be talking about relationships, friendships. It's going to be different topics. So you never know. It's just as we go along. So, y'all stay tuned in. And, I'll keep y'all posted when the next episode and the next show going to be started. And we'll get up with y'all. All right, we out.